Yeah, auto's fine. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to another episode of Ask Aviator. This is episode number 5, 4, 7. I don't even know. All I know is I hear myself on like 8 different devices over here. So please silence them. Guys, we're joined by some incredible people here tonight. We have 2 of my very favorite people in the entire world. I hear like 8 more devices over there. It's usually John's fault. Just remember that, guys. We have Ron Saran and Parker Awesome. These guys help run, or he helps run the Lone Star Paramotor School in Texas. Welcome, guys.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's great to be here.
How are the audio levels, John? Are we sounding good? Can you hear them and me? I'm so much louder and I'm so much closer.
He has your mic turned down.
He's got me like all the way down.
Yeah, it's all right.
The first episode we filmed and the lines were crossed. And so he kept turning me up and Travis down. And it was just like, oh, oops. But we've learned so much. We've come so far. So really quickly, we're going to have about an hour-long show tonight. Maybe a little longer, maybe a little shorter. We'll see. We have lots to talk about. And I apologize in advance that I'm a little bit out of it. It's been a heck of a long day. More on that later. But it's been a great couple of weeks. We're just coming off of Sun and Fun. And we're coming off of... are coming into a new class. Mm-hmm. We have some past students here right now. We've got Ron here for another 10-ish days.
Yeah.
Parker, when are you leaving?
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah. My heart's sad. So let me go back in time and talk about who these guys are. But before we do that, I want to do some quick shout-outs. We've actually improved our screen situation massively. I'll post a picture on our Instagram later. I have a 42-inch TV next to the camera. So even though I'm not looking at you guys, I can read everything. So huge welcome to Lucien Sims. Dude, your motor, or one very similar to it, is right here behind you. Roberto, I am waiting no longer for the coffee. Lane Stu, welcome, sir. Glad you are a wannabe pilot as well. And, of course, Akbots, AJ, can't wait to see you on Thursday.
Yeah.
We got Sandor. Good to see you, my friend. Actually, I'm looking forward to trying some of that Resurgence coffee. I told him I need a coffee sticker that like we could put on the door or put on the coffee maker and be like, this coffee supports Resurgence. Because
that's cool.
That's actually something we got to do at Sun and Fun. I don't know if you guys heard the announcing, but we actually flew both shows in honor of Resurgence because we don't have a sponsor. So we got to share their message and what they do in front of a 250,000 people, which is pretty rad. Jim Furman, good to see you at Sun and Fun as always. Thank you for stopping by Aviator as well. It's always good to see you. It makes my heart happy. James Dunn, I missed that one, but Bruce says the audio is great tonight.
Cool.
Hey. Queen Bee, nice to see you. And I'm going to go ahead and jump in, guys, to a few questions to introduce Ron and Parker, explain who they are, what they're about. You guys may have seen Ron's video on our channel this last month, as well as another one back in November?
Yeah, sometime back then.
So we met a long time ago in a galaxy far away.
Yeah, we did. 5-6 years ago? Probably
something like
5
that.
years ago.
Yeah, 5. Well, it probably is. How long after you started flying did you go to your first beach blast?
Let's see. It was maybe 3 years after I started flying.
Okay, so
yeah.
I guess we met. I don't remember. I thought we met there.
We did.
Okay, so we've only known each other for like 3 years then.
No.
So we met at Beach Blast.
Seems like a whole lot longer than that.
It does. And at the time, I had just moved away from a brand that you were helping another instructor teach with.
That's right.
And I was deeply impressed by Ron, and I really adored the guy you were working with. I still do. He was an amazing friend. We did some incredible traveling together, just great experiences. And I told Ron then, I said, listen, like if you're going to teach with this guy, come and work with us. We want to work with you and with your partner. We want to support you guys and work together. And it didn't happen.
No, unfortunately, they had an exclusive agreement with their motor manufacturer.
Well, at the end of the day, though, fast forward 25 years later.
Yeah.
He had hair when I first met him, guys.
That's true.
Swear to God, he actually had hair.
That's true.
But
I didn't lose it because of you, by the way.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
We got to partner up about a year ago as an Alliance member. You came on board, and you were still part-time because you were getting out of your career.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Give us like a 90-second Cliff Notes version of who you are and what you're about.
Yeah. So I've been a school teacher, second grade school teacher for 25 years, and started flying about 6 years ago and just loved it. And at my heart, I'm a teacher, so I knew that one day this is what I'd be doing. So I started the Alliance Lone Star Paramotor it was actually in 2017, but I was still teaching full time, so I was just running it part time, the business on the side.
Right.
And 2018 really started getting cooking, and I brought Parker on board. And
his story is really boring. We can't.
No, and then when I retired from teaching last June is really when Lone Star Paramotor really took off.
Well, that's a really cheesy line.
Yeah, sorry.
I spent my entire day at a doctor's office today, and when they heard why I was there, I was a neurosurgeon for some back issues I've had since I was 17, and then augmented 5 years ago. And when they heard all the different things, first off, they told my wife that I need to have a special bubble suit made, which was very kind of them. And then I started talking about motorcycle injuries, and they're like, no, really, bubble suit now. And they started making as many puns as possible, which, by the way, if you are a doctor or you have a doctor's office, trying to be funny, maybe not the best way to get my business, but they're all right.
Yeah.
So Parker, you are an intriguing human who can, much like Jeff, like you guys have so many hidden talents and secrets. And Jeff's the other instructor that works at Lone Star. What's your story? How'd you come to be here? And like a couple interesting tidbits.
Oh, mine's a lot shorter than his.
His was like 14 seconds.
Mine's shorter than that. I was a skydiver. I saw some guys flying on my way home. I haven't done skydiving since then. I actually met Ron probably 6 months before I went through training. He was working with the people I trained with. I was in the transition after he left them before he started Lone Star. During training, I knew it was something I wanted to do too. I enjoy sharing the love and getting people in the sky. So I started pushing Ron to bring on help, which was basically just me. So
he talked himself into a job.
Yeah.
That's kind of the story for a lot of paramotor instructors, I think, especially here at Aviator. It's like, so, Lake Wales, Florida is a real happening place. You should move here.
Right.
That's pretty much what we do. But so what did you do before? I know you skydive.
I went to school for accounting.
Do you want a job? We're hiring an accountant.
Just about the time I finished up my 5 years of school, I realized I don't like accounting.
So do you want a job?
Not with accounting.
Yeah.
And then I've just done a ton of retail management and stuff like that throughout the years. I can do anything if you give me a couple days.
Yeah,
yes, he can. He can figure anything out and really rock it.
And I should point this out as well, guys. And this is kind of bad form for me since I have a paramotor business, and we sell swag and gear, and you can buy our T-shirts and our hats and our stickers and such. But Parker is a freaking machine. I'm not going to showcase them for you, but they're a pair of bright red, remove before flight, Lone Star Paramotor men's leggings, yoga pants in my office. I have not worn them.
Not yet.
No, but they look outstanding on John Hancock.
They do look outstanding on John Hancock. In fact, he would not take them off, and by day 2, his wife made him take them off. So there was no flying happening, clearly. But they have everything from hats and mugs and shirts and jerseys and all kinds of stuff. So check out their store. Where can they find your store?
It's lonestarparamotor.com/merch.
/merch?
Mm-hmm.
Is it backslash or forward slash?
Yeah, it's backslash.
Because if it's backslash, it goes this way, and they wouldn't take them anywhere.
Yeah, just go to lonestarparamotor.com and click on merch.
That'll get you there.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, so we eventually will have a proper show format where we have the same questions we ask every single guest, but we haven't done that yet. We've been a little busy. Since this thing started, it was like, okay, Travis is leaving. Okay, next week. I don't remember who we had the next week. We had Chris. Chris on the next week. And then the next week we had AJ and Catherine. And then the next week was at Sun and Fun. And then now we're here. And I literally feel like I have not come up for air yet. Like not even close. But the team behind the scenes has been doing an incredible job, and it keeps getting better and better. So we are really excited about what the future will bring for this show. But for now, I'll talk a little bit about the past week and answer some questions, and I'd like to get you guys' feedback as well. One of the things that I want to do is try to utilize this as an opportunity for pilots around the world to ask their questions about training, about tips and tricks. We had a guy 2 podcasts ago ask about his landings. He was having trouble with his landings, wanted to know what he could do to improve them. And I gave a couple tips, like 1 foot back, chest forward, try to lead with your chest, and flare later than you think you do. You know, and he came back the next week and he's like, it worked for me. It was awesome. So I want to come up with things like that. And a couple things you guys should know is, first off, one of the things that we always try to aim for is the people that work with us. We want to have the best of the best of the best, period. Not just the best pilots or best instructors, but the best people at heart. And without question, Ron and Parker fit that bill. Ron is a career educator, and not just an educator, but an educator who chose to work with one of the, in my opinion, the most difficult grades to work with, to really put an emphasis on changing their life and helping them to see the world as a better place. You guys, you need to watch the video with Ron about his experience. He's got some really neat stuff.
Thank you.
You do. You really do. But one of the things I like to bring to the table is I like to bring your experience and your expertise into helping people who might have a challenge in their life, whether it's flying challenge or otherwise. We want to be here to serve people. That's always what we're about. And we've done the same thing with Paradigm. We've done the same thing with our instructor staff here, and our whole team is just find people who love to serve. So you get that with Parker perfectly. It all fits together. So we'll answer some questions there as well. There was a question earlier that I wanted to answer, and you guys can help me on this because you're both there. On a scale of 1 to 10, how awesome was Sun and Fun?
Oh, they asked me. I answered earlier. I said 7, but it's because I only got the last 2 days.
Yeah, we came in late. We drove in and got there Friday night. So
that means you were doing it right, because I had been there for 6 days or 5 days. By
yeah,
that
it's
point.
good because we got out of the setup. You know, we
Yes.
helped with the breakdown, but we got out of that. But I would say it's probably an 8.
Okay.
I mean, the Paradigm show was just incredible.
I got to fly.
Yeah, you did. So that was really awesome. I just wish we could have been there a couple of days earlier.
I do too. I do too. You'll have to next time. You guys did Oshkosh with us last year, and that was fantastic. And we're going to do Oshkosh again this year is the plan. Lots of big stuff coming for Oshkosh, hopefully. I got a meeting tomorrow afternoon that is the make or break for the big new reveal act for Paradigm, which I'm really excited about. So we shall see what happens. Roberto says, Eric, get more review videos on the new things. Brother, if you knew how many times John Hancock has tried to literally take me by my nostril hairs and lead me to a room to film them, you would be very proud of him and very sad for me. It's coming. We have a new video coming out about our Fly Products Eclipse, which you see behind us. That video should be coming. The very first taste of what the Eclipse is about should be coming out hopefully tomorrow, Thursday at the latest. So you guys can see some firsthand reactions after we receive these at Sun and Fun. But let's talk about that a little bit. The Eclipse, we arrived Friday to the show. We also won an award at Sun and Fun, by the way, World. We won Grand Champion Ultralight at Sun and Fun this year, which is kind of a big deal, apparently. And I have to give all the credit to Javi Tejero, who's around here somewhere. There he is
in the back.
Javi was the one who's like, listen, I see these judge me signs. Why don't you do this? And so I was like, all right, I've never done it before. Filled it out. We won Grand Champion Ultralight with the Fly Products Vertigo Trike. And this is something that we're going to tease now. We're not going to go fully public with it yet. But one of the reasons we won that Grand Champion Ultralight was the fact that we had something unique on there that has been in development for over a year at an outrageously immense cost. And that's fuel injection. So we have the first fully operational that I know of, ready for market, fuel injection. And that's going to fully roll out at Endless Foot Drag. We're going to bring 5 test units there for people to fly. We've got 4 units here that we've been testing and flying daily, and it was flown there. It flies great, and it's quite the setup. It's quite the deal. So the entire EAA staff liked it a lot, and not EAA, sorry, Sun and Fun staff.
Yeah.
And they split, and it's weird for me. This is, I think, my 25th Sun and Fun. I'm 33 years old. So it's kind of weird because it was EAA's Sun and Fun for so long. It's hard to get back to it. But, so we won Grand Champion. We have the electronic fuel injection coming soon that we'll be able to share more information with you guys. If you're coming to Endless Foot Drag, please ask us for a demo. We're going to have them on these beautiful units right here with the Vitarazi Moster. And it has been fully tested now for over 4 months. We've been testing it every day, and or at least every flyable day. So it's a big deal. Some of the high points of it are that there's no issues with batteries dying. It's burning 30 to 40% less fuel. We've been running on tandems, solos, acro units, everything else. It's 1 to 2 pulls every single time, no matter what you do, and no matter what the temperature conditions are. It's really cool. But segueing back.
It was also a lot of fun to fly. I flew it the other night for the first time.
Oh, that's right, you did.
Yeah.
How's the throttle response?
It was awesome.
Pretty linear?
Yeah.
It's amazing how you can fuel map everything on a computer over and over and over again until it finally works.
Yeah, it was great. That was the first time I flew the Vertigo also, and it was a great track.
Good. I'm glad you liked it. So Friday comes. We have the Trike, or the Eclipse. It arrives. You guys got to put it together. What was your first thoughts with the unit, Parker?
It's entirely too light.
Now, you're used to light units. You went from a very, very heavy unit to flying very light unit.
Right.
Now you're on a Parajet Maverick, which is kind of in between.
Right.
What's it feel like?
It feels like a one-hander as opposed to a two-hander.
I actually picked it up with one finger or 2 fingers on the video.
I did. I carried it through the door with just like a handle, like I was picking up a suitcase. Which,
I love it.
Less awkward, but super, super light.
Yeah, it's really silly. So the one that's behind us is the Atom 80 powered Eclipse. And it's called the Eclipse because if you actually look at the hoop, it's this burnt orange. And Kyle Mooney actually came up with the name. We were in Italy and we were testing this, and we had some issues with the with a whole bunch of different little things that they were able to tweak and fix with us when we were in Italy. And we're trying to come up with a name for it. And it's like, do we want to use Fly Products Light, like the Rider Light? I was like, no, we got to come up with a new name. So we were kicking back and forth names. I wanted the Apollo. I thought that'd be cool. Mm-hmm. And Kyle came up with Eclipse. And I saw the outer cage, and I was like, it looks just like that picture of the full solar eclipse.
Right.
And Ross Gasaway has an incredible one that he took that's very similar, where it's just this orange ring of fire around the moon. And that's what it looks like. So that's why it got the name Eclipse. And I think it's quite fitting.
It is fitting.
It is. But this one's 39 pounds and a few ounces.
Yeah. I got to fly this one last night for the first time. And wow. I mean, incredibly light.
Okay, first impressions aside from lightness. How's it fly in the air?
Flies great. Much more weight shift than I really thought, than I was expecting, even more so than maybe the Nitro. But I was a little concerned maybe about the vibration because it's got a lightweight harness, but vibration was really minimal, and the lightweight harness was super comfortable. So I really enjoyed it.
This harness is very different from the one we tested. So the one we tested was 37.6 pounds, and I anticipated it being uncomfortable, and it wasn't. But I asked for more padding and making it look a little bit prettier, which they did, but it added some weight, which I was really excited about a sub 38 pound unit. Like that was my dream. I was like, I want 37 pounds max. Like that would be so cool to be able to say I have a 37 pound paramotor, and that would make like the Moster one like 43 to 45 pounds, somewhere in that range. But the Moster ended up at 49, and this one's 39. So it's a pretty respectable still.
It is.
That makes the Moster one 4 or 5 pounds lighter than the Parajet Maverick, which is still my unit of choice. I'm still going to keep my Mav. When I first flew this, I seriously considered switching. But for me, I like being cupped, which is what the Maverick does.
It does.
This has more weight shift for sure.
Yeah.
But it definitely adds a really nice semi-budget, stupidly light with Vitarazi engineering. So I'm excited about it. A couple other questions that came in. Roberto says, "Stop smoking, Eric." A, I don't smoke, and B, it's allergies. I went to the ear, nose, and throat doc and had my allergy test done last week, and I wish we could put the picture on stream. But they prick your arm. Yeah. And they pricked it with 32 things.
How many were you allergic to?
31 of them.
Yeah.
And the worst part about
including
it was
needles.
It took 3 including needles. It took 3 days for the swelling to go down. It was so bad that they put Benadryl cream on it. I'm taking Claritin, and it's like, oh my god, it's crazy. Resurgence. Todd Scandrite, good to see you in the house, brother. Asks, how does the Eclipse handle power on inflations? Absolutely no issue at all. It's much stronger than you might think. I actually will have that in the video, trying to flex the cage into the prop. I've not seen. I'm not going to say it's not possible. I plan on doing some tandem flying with it, and then if it can handle the 41 meter Swift Max inflation, we'll know it's good. But I don't see it being possible.
Yeah, I don't know. I did a reverse inflation last night.
So. Yeah, our wind picked up. I'm going to ask one of the men behind the curtain to turn the AC back on, even though it kills our background noise, because I'm starting to sweat. Would that be okay, John? Would you be mad? What's that?
You want somebody to powder you?
No, somebody said that in the chat earlier. Said Eric's getting his makeup on. Guys,
Yeah.
I flew a little small airplane across the state of Florida in thunderstorms. I haven't had time for makeup. And do you see these bags in my eyes? Come on. Somebody mentioned 30 to 40% less fuel burn on the fuel injection. Yes, that's been tested. We'll have exact numbers by Endless Foot Drag to be able to be very, very specific. But yes, so less fuel burn. Will that fuel injection self-adjust for different altitudes? Bruce Sroka. How do you say your name, Bruce? Sroka? Straka? That's a cool freaking name. Yes, it does self-adjust. It's constantly reading the oxygen and fuel ratio, and it works beautifully. Kevin Weinhold, question about airspace, fellas. This was for you, Ron. Up a little bit. There we go. I thought Class E started at 1,200 AGL, at least for most of the East Coast. Most of you fly much higher. Do you need permission, or are you just so far in the middle of nowhere there's no designated authority to ask? You want to answer that?
I'm going to defer that one to Parker because he's much more of an expert on
You're the
airspace than
airspace
I
guy.
am. Oh yeah, he
I
is.
like it. I'm not the I'm better at the airspace guy.
You're way better.
The Class E does typically start at 1,200 for most of the country, unless you're near like a Class D or a smaller airport, where it would be 700. But Class E airspace, we think of that as E for everyone. You do not need permission to fly in Class E. There
Unless
are
it's
a
Class
few
E surface area.
exceptions where it does Class E to surface, which is designated on the map, which you can check at like skyvector.com with a magenta dashed line. That will tell you what is Class E to surface, and that we just don't fly it.
Well, you can fly in it with permission. In fact, I have a trip planned to Flagstaff, Arizona for the Overlanders Conference in May, and I'm really excited about it because Saturday night they throw this massive party, and we're supposed to fly into the party, and it's in Class E surface area. So we'll call the tower in advance. We've done this before in the past. You call the tower in advance and say, here's where I'm going to fly. Here's my altitudes. Here's the time I'm going to fly. May I have permission to enter the airspace? Or if you're fancy and you spent way too much on a helmet, you can use your Aviator helmet and call the tower. Again, not way too much if you're the right person and you just don't like messing with stuff. It works. But that's what I'll do. I'll end up calling the tower in advance, letting them know, and then I'll call them from my radio, from my aviation radio, to let them know, Aviator or Paradigm flight of 5. They enter the Class Echo airspace surface area from at this point, at this altitude, and they'll give me a clearance to enter, which is good to know.
And a lot of those are part-time anyways. The Class
Right.
E surface,
Yep.
a lot of them are part-time. So.
They are indeed. Justin Burdett asks, I've watched your training video of getting into kiting before you actually get formal training. Does Aviator sell wings and harnesses, and what gear should a new pilot get to practice with?
Good question.
Great question.
Yeah.
Aviator absolutely does sell kiting harnesses and wings. We actually offer 2 different versions of our kiting harness. One we haven't really announced yet. I would encourage you guys, if you want to have a great laugh, go to our store, aviatorppg.com, go to accessories, click on the Aviator kiting harness, and please watch to the end. Because John Hancock's in there. He's not wearing leggings, but it's pretty freaking fantastic. It's worth your time. You got to check it out.
It is worth your time, and it was a lot of fun making that.
It was, oh my gosh, it was hilarious. You've got Catherine looking all beautiful, and then you've got John. And it's really cute. But to answer your question about what you should buy, most of our students, before they come, they're going to buy an Ozone Power, a Mojo Power, and they will get an appropriate size for what you'll fly as well. I've heard a lot of people who are always like, oh, I don't want to buy a wing that I'm going to fly. I want to buy something cheap to kite with. What's your answer to them?
Yeah, you can't kite enough. If it's too windy to fly, it's usually not too windy to kite.
Right.
And you just need the appropriate sized wing. But I think you should be kiting with what you're going to be flying with, so you get to know the wing and what the wing likes.
Well, and the big thing too, in my opinion, with it is that if you are learning to kite for the first time, and I'm sure you can agree with this, if you're learning to kite for the first time on an old, like call it a 15-year-old glider,
Yeah.
you're really hurting yourself. You're really putting yourself in a position where it's going to be way harder to do. You're going to teach yourself more bad habits. For instance, I learned a wing that was designed in 2002. It was a copy of a wing designed in 2002. And it was brutal. It was awful to learn with. It was so hard to inflate that you literally had to hold the A's until it was time to add brake pressure to take off.
Yeah.
So having a glider that actually is newish, a newer design that's very safe, very stable, particularly an A-rated wing, something like the Mojo, or the new Spark. I think it's still called the Spark. They have a new one coming out, by the way.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it's a super budget wing. It's gonna. I don't know what the retail is yet. Our first 3 should be here in a couple of weeks, It's not going to be as easy to launch. It's going to be a little bit different than the Mojo because it is a budget wing. The last one, I believe, was $2,700 or $2,500.
Okay.
So it should be somewhere in that range, retail, brand new. But it's still modern technology compared to ancient history.
Yeah, some of those older wings can be so frustrating for people to learn on. Some of them even quit the sport before they start.
Well, and more than that, too, it's not just the age of the wing's design. It's how porous it is.
Yeah.
And we've seen this firsthand. Like, my dad's wing right now, he has a Ozone Speedster 224. And we got to have my dad on the show. He's amazing. We have to.
Hashtag high 4.5.
My dad shot the index finger off of his hand on his left hand, so he is hashtag high 4.5.
My favorite thing.
But he has this wing, and it's a new design. It only came out 2 years ago, but he flew it every morning and every evening that was flyable for 20 minutes to an hour every day for 2 years. The thing's got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I mean, I would estimate it between 500 and 800 hours on it.
Yeah.
And it still flies. But I flew it the other day, and I held the A's until it was time to put pressure on. I was like, man, this thing's porous. And I finally talked him into it. I was like, listen, it's time to upgrade. Like, you got the inside track, Dad. You
right.
raised me.
Yeah.
You know? So he just got I think a Roadster 3.
I was just going to say, what's he going with?
He's stepping down one. He's been doing a lot of tandem flying because he actually got his tandem rating, so he's been flying that. And then today he purchased his Fly Products Rider thrust, pull start. He didn't get the dual start, and the Foxy Trike.
Oh, nice.
So he's going to go to a Roadster 3, I think at 24.
Okay.
Just because it's almost as dynamic in turning, but it's much safer. So it was like, why push the edge when you're almost 72 years old?
It's still fast, though.
Oh, yeah, the Roadster 3 has a huge speed range.
Yes.
Yeah. So to answer the guy's question for the back, yes, you should buy a kiting glider. We will send you a DVD with all the how to kite stuff. We'll be happy to help you with a harness as well. One of the cool things that we do here, and I believe a lot of our Alliance members will be doing in the future if you're going to train with them, is we each sell all of our school gear every 3 months. Every motor, every wing rotates every 3 months because if it stays longer than that, it starts to become one of those old wings we talked about. And even though it's not used that much, say it's used for 3 classes, maybe it'll get 15 hours of light, right? But that's enough. And they start getting dirty. And I'm just persnickety enough that I want to have all the class equipment brand freaking new because, in my opinion, that makes it worth it. It's like you come here, you come to a nice shop, you have this nice experience, you get great instructors, then you open a brand new wing every week.
Yeah.
I might be a little bit weird. It's partly because my experience was so opposite of that. I was trained on a wing that was built in 1997. This was in 2012.
Okay, that gives it relevance.
Yeah, so it was a 15-year-old glider.
They even make that anymore?
No, they don't. They make a new version of it.
Okay.
It was a Power Atlas. Yes.
My first wing as well.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think my best experience was about 40 seconds of keeping it overhead in 15-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah. It took me months kiting that thing just to learn how to kite.
Of course, Matt Minyard will tell you, because he was training with me, that he could do it. He was freaking 18 years old and built like a Greek god. He could do whatever he wanted. It was annoying. All right, PPG Bobfather. Because I'm 200 pounds and fly a heavy motor and trike, my wing is 35 meters. Kiting is pretty difficult with such a wing. Should I buy a smaller kiting wing? Let me catch my breath. Let's talk about speed wings, Ron and Parker.
Love them.
I love them too. So there's two things. You either go to a smaller regular wing or go to a speed wing. I tell people that if you're going to be in the sport for a long time, the must-have accessories are a trike that's easily mounted to your frame. For those days it's no wind, you have a bad knee, a hurt back, and a speed wing.
Yep.
For those days where it's too windy to fly your regular wing or too windy to kite your regular wing. What do you guys think?
Yeah, absolutely. Customers always ask us, what's a good second wing? And speed wing is a great one.
Yes.
It's super windy, 20, 30 miles an hour. We can be out there kiting. Or take it to the beach.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's a great skill accelerator too, because it is much harder to kite a speed wing than it is to kite a mojo.
And we've had classes where we've started. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's fun. Like, we like them so much, I had Ron get an extra one just so I could keep it in my house so that I could play with it between classes.
In the colors that you like.
And the colors that I like.
Yes.
It was specific. Like, if you're going to get another one, get this color. So it's a lot of fun, but yeah, it's way better. Like, we've had classes start on them. And it's just a much faster advancing because it doesn't give you the time to overthink it.
Well, and it really, you're forced. I mean, the whole the deepest heart of kiting is learning to follow the wing and not to over control it.
Mm-hmm.
And a speed wing keeps you humble if you're a beginner. And when you become more experienced with it, when you translate over to the bigger wing, it's like, oh, I pull and I can wait 5 seconds and it's there.
Yeah.
Versus speed wing, you pull and you have a half a second. It's a 10x difference.
Yeah.
It makes you a much better pilot, I think. And I encourage everybody. We don't sell a ton of speed wings to students because students are like, I'm going to spend this much money. But in our elite package, like if you were to come here and get the elite package, you want everything. You get a speed wing.
Yeah.
We cycle those out just like the regular school wings too, because we use them for almost, I would say every class gets some experience with them. Some classes get more than others based on wind, of course. But
Yeah.
So out of experience in Austin, Texas, the last time I was there was in November picking up the 120. Is it ever not blowing 40 miles an hour and foggy there?
You came the 1 week it did that.
Yeah. So sometimes it doesn't blow at all. It's so still that we take the whole class down to the beach to Galveston.
Sure you do. Sure it is.
Get it. No. We get an Airbnb, and we hate for people to leave and not be able to forward and reverse launch.
That's one of the things I love about your school, and we used to do that here early on. Before they outlawed paramotoring on the West Coast at Treasure Island, we used to do, like Tucker's class, for instance. We went to the beach for a day, and that was the class that we found out that it was illegal there now.
Yeah.
So I took off. Actually, no, I think it was the next class that it became illegal. That class we were able to play around, but it was fun. You go to the beach for a day or two, and you get some reverse kiting in, because a lot of our past students, like Fletch, one of our interim instructors, guy who's learning to teach with us right now. He trained with us in September, and 2 nights ago, I think it was the first time you'd done a reverse, and fourth reverse.
Right.
So you don't always have those experiences, and it really depends on where you live. Because like for us, as instructors, we fly when the air is terrible, so we do a lot more reverses than our students do.
Yeah.
I have the best story about that though. So I went through my entire training and did no reverses. I did no reverse training. We trained on beautiful days. 2 weeks after training, my equipment showed up. A week after my equipment showed up, beach blast. So I get to beach blast.
Oh my Lord.
And it's all reverse all the time. It's beach blast. I got out there on night 1 and just looked like an idiot for about half an hour until they kicked me off the beach. I didn't even fly that first day because I couldn't do a reverse launch. I literally, John Black, in his infinite wisdom, came over and with 2 fingers holding my brake lines could kite that wing better without looking at it than I could staring right at it. And it just made me feel like an idiot. And it's because I didn't get that during training, which we just didn't have the weather for it, and we didn't go look for the weather for it. So we try not to do that to anyone else because, I got it, obviously, but it still made me feel like an amateur in front of 150, professionals.
Well, I think that's one of the things that's really important, and one of the reasons that makes the Aviator Alliance and Aviator stand out. Each of us, we each had a fairly poor experience in training.
I'd agree with that.
That's why Aviator was founded, was because I was given 2 flights, given my PPG-2, and said, have a great life. And it was not the best experience. It's not to say that the person who did it was a bad person or that was not right for some people, but it was not the best experience for me. And when I started teaching people, I realized that what was really imperative to me, what was really important, was I wanted to give an experience where people left feeling completely confident because they had every piece of experience they needed. And we have dropped the ball. I will be the first one to say it. Like in training hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students, there have been students that have left here not having every experience they need to have. But they've all been asked. And then maybe they'll realize later they didn't get something, and then they can come back, and we'll work together to try to make sure they have all the experience they need. Because I want students to leave with 100 flights. We had a student in October leave with 100 flights in a week.
That's crazy.
It's awesome.
I know.
Right?
I know.
And it's like, a lot of those are touch and goes, but he went home completely confident. He went home to Utah, where he's flying at high altitude, no issues, super happy, totally confident, totally competent. Really, really, really great place. So that's a big part of our mission, is just trying to create the best pilots we can as far as skills. But more than that, it's always been about trying to create the best experience for them and the best possible people out of it. Because when you go to a fly-in and you see Aviator students, they're the ones who are on the field out there helping lay out everybody else. They're the ones trying to encourage people. And it's a level of servant's heart, and that's what each of the Alliance members have. It really is. All right, let's scroll up a little bit. We've got James Robinson. Is the Groundhog considered a speed wing? No. The Groundhog is a ground handling only wing. Not to dog it, I don't prefer it. Have you guys ever had one?
Have not. Haven't even kited one. No.
It's very affordable. We used to have them. I would much prefer seeing someone on a Firefly or a Rapidos or something else like a phaser.
Phasers worse, yeah.
I find the Groundhog oscillates this way a lot, and it's more challenging to inflate. It's actually one of the more challenging wings. So it's the only ozone wing that I'm not totally fired up on, but I'm talking to them about it. So maybe we'll have an improvement. Yeah. Vaprex, where's a good place to buy a used speed wing? I've looked at Facebook groups that sell speed wings. They seem to go for about $1,000. It really depends on what you want. If you want a used up, spent, burnt out speed wing, you can get them for $600 to $1,000 all day long. If you want to buy one from our school or from Ron's school, what did we sell that phaser 2 for?
Maybe
$1,600, I think.
Yeah. 1,500 maybe.
1,500. So like a used wing
Yeah.
that has minimal hours, maybe 20 to 30 hours of light on it, will sell for between $500 and $500 off. Right? You're not going to save as much, but it will be something. By the way, guys, I'm really sorry for the rain noise and the AC noise. It's hot in here and it's raining, and we're in a metal building.
It's like it's Florida or something.
It's like it's Florida or something. Anthony Peregringo.
Peregringo.
Great question. We actually had a meeting about this in this room before we got started. Do we offer other levels of training other than just beginners to get in the air? Novice, intermediate training, advanced, expert? The answer is kind of. We've always offered individualized training, one-on-one stuff here. I know you guys do as well. But we are working really hard on some syllabuses for a whole bunch of intermediate and advanced trainings. It's something that Ron and I are meeting about next week. Our school manager, Chris, and I have been working on for a while. We want to bring a PPG-3 class to bear. That's like 4 to 5 days of really dialing in those skills. We want to bring in a thermal clinic. I'm going to have a sip. What else are we working on? What other intermediate classes?
Thermal in class.
Trike transitions?
Trike transition class as well, yeah, because that's becoming more and more popular. Advanced maneuvers class, intermediate class, yeah.
SIV class.
SIV class as well, yeah.
We want to do one of my missions in the next year is to put together a really, really well-versed syllabus for tandem trike training. So teaching someone who already has the skills built, at least 150 hours, preferably 300. I don't know the exact number yet, of really good flying experience. Trike transition them if they don't already know how to fly a trike. Push them through and help them get to a point where they can receive an exemption from the FAA to take their family flying, to take friends flying, to use it for education purposes and do it completely safely. It'll basically be like a private pilot course for paramotoring. And I think that it could be done properly. If you have someone that's been flying for a year to 2 years and you give them 10 days down here to go through a crash course, really pushing through, that's a really terrible term to use, but really pushing through things to make sure that it's done properly.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing for me. All right. Fabio wants to know, are the best beginner wings Parker?
Typically training on A wings. So
What's an A wing?
Mojo is a good wing. A is what you're looking for. It's going to be the most benign wing, the most self-correcting wing. It's going to be the best wing to make sure you don't make the mistakes to get you in trouble.
Right.
It's just
Good way to
the
put it.
hardest wing to get in trouble on.
What I always describe it to people as is that the wings are rated A, B, C, D, unrated.
Right.
A wing is designed that if you fly behind a 747 and you hit their wake turbulence, the wing's going to completely collapse and ball up, and you're going to go, and by the time you get that whole inhalation in, you're going to have turned less than 90 degrees, fallen less than 200 feet. It's going to be reopened while you did nothing but scream. Right?
Right.
Then a B wing, same thing. It's going to fall less than 400 feet, turn less than 180 degrees, and open while you screamed. A C wing's going to fall 600 feet, turn 180 degrees, and it's going to require some pilot intervention to get it reopened.
I noticed the screaming is part of most of these.
Right.
Well, by the time you get higher and higher, hopefully you stop screaming and you just start cursing.
Okay, good.
Right? So, but the D wing, double that. The uncertified wing, you just scream the whole time.
Yeah.
But that's why I fly a Mojo more than I fly my free ride, which is uncertified. I fly the Mojo more than any glider that I own. I have 7 gliders I routinely fly. The Mojo is my number 1 glider to go to. Everyone's always like, oh, I don't want to buy an A-Wing. I'm going to be bored in a year.
Mojo party.
Mojo party.
Mojo party.
We had
You
one the
got
other
it.
day. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Christopher Todd, having trouble finding training because I have a family with 2 young kiddos. Oh, it went away. Oh, no. It's gone. Where'd it go? Can you scroll up? It's hiding. Let's see. Well, we lost signal. Oh. Sorry, guys. We lost signal, apparently. Anyway, keep going up. Let's keep scrolling up a little bit. One more. There we go. Having trouble finding training because I have a family with 2 young kids, limited availability to get time off and away from family, etc. Christopher Todd, I totally understand and respect that. When I got started, I had one 8-month-old at home, and it was challenging to get away from home as well. At that time, it was a 10-day training. Here, that right now is 8 to 10 days, 15 on the outside. We are working on it. Ron has been working tirelessly with the rest of our team. We are working on shortening our timeline before October to being 5 to 7 days. Ideally 5 days with good weather. So that's the mission. We're going to take all the ground school online. We have a few other secrets up our sleeve to try to make it shorter. And we have some really great plans to be able to make sure that students can leave with 15 to 25 flights after 5 days of training. That's really what our goal is.
You know, it's important to get the family involved too.
It is.
To get that buy-in. So take them with you, but if we can shorten that time down to 5 to 7 days.
Well, and something
That'd be
people
great.
they don't think about, and actually I was talking to John Hancock about this the other day because he made a video when we were at Mardi Gras a few weeks ago, or I guess a month ago now, where Ross Cassaway and Travis and myself got to fly and do a little aerobatic demo over the lake downtown, and my whole family was there. And we talked about the fact that a lot of people call us and they say, I'm worried about what my family's going to think. I'm worried that my family is going to think that I'm being pulled away from them. I'm worried about the fact that this is for me. And what I've discovered that's been really true for my life and for the lives of a lot of our students, I imagine for you guys too, is that what we discover is that we become much better for our families. When we do something that serves our soul, that feeds us, that actually helps us become better humans, we're able to give so much more back. So like when I get grumpy and frustrated and angsty, my wife's like, Eric, go fly. You got to go fly, Eric. You're being kind of a dick.
I get the same thing, but I don't have a wife anymore, so I get it from my 16 and 19-year-old daughter. Dad, you're grumpy.
You
go
probably
take a
get it
flight.
from your ex-wife too.
Well, I'm not going to go there.
All right. Phobio, how many hours can you get of a paramotor / wing before it needs replacing? Go.
With the paramotor, a paramotor is a 2-stroke engine, so it's really how you treat it.
Yes.
There are people that are flying paramotors that are 10, 15 years old because they take really good care of it and they do everything they need to do to keep it running. As far as the wing, most of the wings are going to tell you 300 hours, and that's going to be based on UV. But realistically, if you're doing it right and you're sending them in once a year for your inspection, they're going to tell you when it's time.
So really quick on the inspection. For one thing, I want to mention is that both motor and wing times have changed drastically. If you read the PPG Bible, it's based on information from 10 years ago. Okay. The wing design, the cloth, the fabric and stuff has changed so much. And Jeff, I apologize if that's incorrect information. You've updated it. I've not read the most recent version all the way through. But what I've realized is that, for instance, we have Kyle's old Freeride 15, which he's had for a year and a half plus, flying every day. I mean, that thing has so many hours on it. It's insane. It's really obscene how many hours it has on it. It was even left out overnight in Owensboro or in St. Louis, I think it was. I don't remember. He left it outside on the ramp. Nice, safe place for it.
Right.
Thanks, Kyle. The wing has been well loved, and when it was sent in for inspection, we expected it to fail on some level. 0 issues. Charted out beautifully. It had at least 300 hours on it. We had my first Sirocco 19. Sirocco 119, which I put at least 250 hours on. It's been flown a ton more by its next owner. I mean, a ton more. This guy flies a bunch. He's a helicopter pilot. Passed with flying colors. So even with the lightweight wings, they're lasting a lot longer than 300 hours. Like it used to be, that was the rule. Like 300 hours-ish was the rule. Not anymore.
Not anymore?
Not anymore. So I would estimate 500 to 600 hours, and then you're in a position where you need to be. But annual inspections after the first year, pay $150. Where I was going with when I first interrupted you was the fact that there's a new inspection company in town. They bought Paramotor's company. Our friends Lauren and Shannon at Four Winds PPG.
Four Winds, yeah.
Yep, they're
cool.
just 30 miles south of us, and they are awesome people. Lauren is a great instructor, and Shannon is doing the inspections now. So I'm sitting my dad's wing to them to find out just how bad it is.
Nice.
Brandon Hughes asks, is the Roadster 3...
Fletch.
Oh, actually, that's something I should ask.
Jeff.
Yay.
I should mention to you as well is, Jeff Fletcher's here.
Actually, he's in Tampa.
He's in Tampa. He's close.
Jeff, come visit, man.
That's what I told him. He's on an overnight. He said he's got to be there on some ungodly hour in the morning.
I had my RV6 in Tampa this afternoon. I could have put you on my lap, and you could have flown back with me. It's almost as fast as the U2. So all right, I want to answer more questions, but I want to talk some about Jeff too, because Jeff's watching, and I love Jeff.
Yeah.
It's funny because Jeff knows a lot of my friends from the airshow industry, because a lot of airshow people come from the U2 program. So he knows Huggy, he knows other people I know, and Jeff's a Southwest pilot.
He is, yeah.
He also is one of your instructors.
Mm-hmm.
He's also the only guy to ever throw a reserve at Aviator. So let's talk a bit more about how you found Jeff and who he is.
Yeah, so Jeff actually showed up for our first Lone Star paramotor class. He was interested in taking lessons, and he asked if he could come down and videotape it with a drone.
Okay.
So he came down and did that, and then shortly signed up for a class. So he was, I think, in our second class.
I think he was second class.
Yeah. So he was one of our students, and he's been an instructor for just about everything that flies, including the U2.
He is an incredibly talented pilot, and he's, out of all the people in my life that I've ever known, I can rightly say that Woody Treon, Ross Gassaway, Alex Huff, and a few other paramotor guys can pretty much, you throw a project at them and they're going to just figure it out and do it. Alex Montanez, one of the other guys here, they can do it. Like they'll figure it out and make it work. There's a difference with Jeff. Jeff won't figure out how to make it work. Jeff will make the machine that figures out how to make it work. Jeff will be like, okay, so we need to make this happen. And Jeff's like, well, I'm going to use a lathe and a CNC machine to make a lathe and a CNC machine that can make the proper lathe and CNC machine for the project. Like, Jeff's insane.
You are not that far off. We had
I'm not.
We had some damage to one of the cages, and we usually have to take it off, take all the rivets off the netting and replace the netting. And he looked and said, I think I can build something tonight that can take that out without removing the netting. So he 3D printed a couple of rollers, attached it to a 2x4, and just rolled the whole cage round as I just watched in awe. So,
I need one of those, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the rivets off.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, can I please get one?
Yeah. We'll get Jeff to
Jeff,
make you one.
please. I would like one. We could have one for an air conception, for a Parage, just all the machines, please. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
but he is crazy. He can make anything. He embroiders the hats and the.
By the way, I have new shirts.
He makes the.
I need an Aviator logo on this shirt. I bought it for this purpose.
You
Yes.
can totally do that.
He'll
Look, I'm going to
totally
send
do
you
that.
home with a whole bunch of shirts,
You bet.
Parker. Remind me tomorrow.
Not me. I'm not taking any baggage with me. You're sitting home with Ron. I'm taking.
He's flying. I'm driving.
Yeah.
That's all right.
It's like 5 shirts, dude,
Where am I going to put 5 shirts with no bag?
in your pocket.
Or just pockets of shirts?
You always wear cargo
I
pants.
always have cargo pockets.
You're good.
Well, they're always full. I got a lot of gear to carry around.
Oh, all right. From Nathan Catalano. I've heard
know.
that it's very dangerous to use brakes on a reflex glider with the trims fully out, like a Dudek 1.1. Is this an explicit rule, and does it not make it unsafe for beginners? I'm going to start to answer this question. I'll let you actually get the finite details. 2 podcasts ago, number 3, we were in this room right here, and we were discussing glider brands. It might have been 3 podcasts ago. We were talking about the different ways that engineers and glider designers work, and one of the reasons why we love Ozone so much, why I personally love Ozone. I've worked with a lot of different glider brands over the years, and I've flown pretty much all of them. I can't think of a brand that I haven't flown that's a mainstay brand. And it's because I want to be versed. And if I could find a brand that I like better, I want to learn about it, right? So one of the reasons I love Ozone is because they have worked really hard to have all of their glider range You can put the trims anywhere you want
Mm-hmm.
and pull main brakes. Now on the Triox, the trim range is like this, right? It's insane, and you can still use main brakes. Because pilots were making mistakes. They were putting the trims out on some of these sportier gliders that have a long trim range where the wing goes into full reflex without speed bar, and they're pulling brakes. And if you want to watch a great video, it's from my friend Pascal Valli. He's flying in Spain, I believe it is. If you look up Dudek Collapse,
Okay.
it's he's flying a prototype glider. It was a Dudek Hadron original, where they increased the trim range, and he's pulling main brakes on it, and that wing disappears over and over. I'm like, it's bad. It's bad. And Pascal is one of the best pilots in the world and one of the most humble guys in the world. I love him to death. He was a Dudek pilot at the time, really talented guy, and he kept it afloat. Like the guy, when you can fly 20% of a glider 3 feet off the water and pull it off over and over again, 2 thumbs up, right? But I love the fact that Ozone made it very imperative to them that they did not want to have people be able to make that mistake. I lost a friend to a similar mistake where one side of the glider was accelerated, the other side was not. And that's a really dangerous situation to be in.
Yeah.
And that was not a brake issue. It was not a dumb mistake. It was just a bad accident. But that's one of the reasons I do like Ozone is that they're in a position where they keep the trim range small enough and then you get the rest of your speed in speed bar, right? With the Dudek Universal 1.1, which I've not flown the 1.1. I have several hundred hours on the Universal 1, the original Universal. It's a phenomenal glider of its time. It's very old now, but it was a great glider. People always comment on my review of it. It was like, because the review is like, we've flown it for 9 months. We have over 500 hours on it between us. It's a great wing. My encouragement would be anything past 6, put you in full reflex. I think it's 6, might be 8. Do you remember? Either of you guys?
I know.
I
I
know
learned
they,
on it, but
I know
don't remember.
I know they limit originally to 12. They don't want you going any further than that.
Okay. On the original one was, I think we always told our students 6.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. This is really old information. That's 5 years ago. My encouragement would be read the manual, follow the manual.
Yeah.
I've seen wings do this, not just on video. When you pull big brake on a wing that's over accelerated and you get a deflation because of it, that's really scary stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, read the manual.
Read the manual, trust the manual, talk to the designers. They're almost all available. You can email Ozone and say, hey, I have a question, and someone on the team will help you, whether it's me or it's Alex Mateos or it's Amelia Plack. Someone will come to you and help you understand better what you're trying to understand. Mike Tadlock. Dude, I'm so jealous of you. Let me just start answering your question by saying I'm so insanely jealous. I want to fly in Brazil so bad. My cousin is Brazilian, my cousin-in-law. He lived in Sao Paulo growing up. He met my cousin in New Zealand. They fell in love, got married, had beautiful children. She's like 6 months pregnant right now, and I'm jealous. I want to go fly and eat picanha and drink caipirinhas and just have the best life ever in Brazil. He says he's preparing for the Icarus Trophy race in Brazil and hope to be about 200 pounds then, so I cannot fly a wing as small as most of the people that I have read about in the race. I fly Dudek Universal. What wing would I suggest for the race? I never let you answer the rest of that question, by the way.
That's all right.
I apologize.
I was going to say read the manual.
I got on a roll.
That's all right.
All right, so let me start things off by saying that I would always recommend that you fly a wing that you're safe on, that you have the experience on, that you have the requisite lifetime on to know that you're going to be safe and confident. If you have 350 hours of flying, you fly 3 times a week, I'm going to say fly the freaking free ride, right? It's going to oscillate. You're going to have to control it. It's going to collapse a lot if you're in bad air, but it's going to get you there fast and super efficient. If you're a intermediate pilot, advanced pilot that has the skill, I'd say fly a Sirocco. It's hands-off stability, massive speed range. It's going to get you off the ground easily. If you're a beginner pilot, I'm going to say fly a Roadster 3. What would you say, and what sizes would you say for that weight?
Yeah, I'd want to know how many hours Mike already has on the Dudek Universal.
Which is a B-rated wing, or at least the original was a B-rated wing.
Yeah, it is. And Universal's a great wing, but it depends. I mean, the size he's talking about for the Icarus race, but there's speed in the air and there's shorter takeoffs and faster landings too.
Right.
And he's going to be carrying equipment with him as well. So,
which is a huge consideration because not only do you have to think about your cross-country speed, are you trying to win, or are you trying to get there safely? And that's a really solid question. Like, do you actually? This sounds crass almost, but is it more important to you to win the race or to survive it?
Yeah.
You know, that's going to answer the question.
But weight is not a speed thing. He was talking about his weight. That's what glider size you're depending is also what gear he's carrying for the race. But
Right.
as far as being bigger, it doesn't make you any slower.
What do you weigh?
I'm 240.
240.
Before I put on gear.
And what are you flying?
I'm on a 22 Sirocco 2.
That's sporty.
Yeah. I'm a little bit overweighted on it, but I like it. That's what I was looking for. I can absolutely fly it. It lands hot. It takes off hot, but I'm the fastest one in the sky, so I'm okay
You wanna
with
bet?
that. I'll take it.
It's funny. We figured out that Kyle flying a 15 free ride and me flying a 16 free ride. I'm 70 pounds heavier than Kyle. I'm so fast.
Yeah.
It's crazy difference in speed. But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's really a question of what your all-up weight is. And Mike, feel free to contact us. Send myself an email, Eric at aviatorppg.com. I'm more than happy to help you. Whether it's me that answers you or one of our instructors, we'll be happy to get back with you, because a big part of it for us is trying to help people make safe decisions, and we're always going to help you err toward the side of what's going to keep you alive versus winning. We want you to finish the race.
Yeah.
So it's kind of important.
You're a winner if you finish.
You are a winner if you
Absolutely.
finish. Eloy Garcia, Eloy, my friend, it's so great to see you on here, man. I have been following your Facebook posts with lots of energy, and I keep seeing you come up in my memories from times you were here. My last one was a picture of you, Kyle, Travis, and Tucker on the back porch of the Red Barn. Loved it. He says, I'm getting back into flying after 8 months out due to surgery. I sold my 24 Spider, 50 hours on the wing, total of 60 hours flying, another Spider or the Roadster 3. My answer to you is this. When are you getting back into flying, and what motor are you going for? We have a couple new options on motors. I would definitely encourage you to look into the one behind me right now. The Eclipse is so light. It's going to remind you a lot of your nitro as far as weight, but it's going to be a lot smoother, and it's going to be lighter. So I would definitely encourage you to consider it. As far as wing goes, the reason I say when is because the Spider 3 releases at the end of July, which is the Roadster 3 with lighter fabric. Mm-hmm. And we've been flying it. We have 3 of them here. They don't exist yet, but we've been testing them and filming them. I love the Roadster 3. The Roadster 3 is as easy to launch as the Spider was. And the Spider 3 is full of hydrogen, I think.
It's ridiculously easy to launch.
Have you flown one?
I have, and I like doing reverses, even in
wind?
Maybe 1 mile an hour or negative 1 mile an hour, yeah. And Spider just stays right over your head, which is awesome. So, yeah.
It is silly. It really is silly, though. All right, I want to do this question 2 ways. Vaprex asks, can you elaborate why the Maverick is the PPG? I can't read his writing. Hang on. Can you elaborate on why the Parajet Maverick is the PPG setup you are using now? I have the Maverick and the Mojo Power, but I'm a newbie in training. I'd love to know what sold you experts on the Maverick. We're going to do this 2 ways. I love the Maverick. Mm-hmm. You love the Eclipse. Mm-hmm. Let's go. I'll start. My first cross country, the Maverick, 1.5-hour flight. I landed and I turned to Travis and I said something I can't say on stream because it would be rude to another competitor. But I was astonished by how easy it was to fly, how the seat board folds up when you push out of it, how effortless the weight shift was, even without lamels, how easily it would wingtip drag either direction. The smoothness, the lack of vibration in your back, no eye jitter. I was so used to eye jitter. Oh my gosh, I got to the point with my eyes where I had the expectation I would land and my eyes would just for a while afterwards.
Really?
And after 500 hours on a motor, you just get used to it, and it's worth it because you're in the air.
Yeah.
I've flown a lot of awesome motors that have weird side effects, and that was one of them for me. It may have been in part due to the fact that pieces kept falling off the motor and we kept repairing the prop. Not blaming the motor for it. For me, the fit and finish on the Mav mixed with geometry. Yeah. The geometry is perfect for my body style. So I'm 6'4", 184 pounds right now. I was 197 when I got it. It's flawless. Harness, hang points, everything about it's flawless. I love the position, the pulley for the starter. I had 2 Scouts before that I kept burning my necks trying to start because I had to go up.
Yeah.
And the Scouts is still my favorite geometry unit, but there's a lot of negative side effects for me. The Maverick fixed everything, and the geometry was barely in second. So it's like, that's why I chose that. Why are you choosing this?
And I remember I was here teaching one of your classes when you and Travis came in.
That's right, you
Yeah,
were here.
and you just landed with a big smile on your face saying...
Did they call it a poo-eating grin?
We did. And you said, why haven't we been flying these for years?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I really enjoy the Parajet Maverick.
Well, that's what you've been flying for
and
the last few months.
I have, and I'm like 165 to 175 pounds, so I'm kind of right in between the Atom 80 and the Maverick. But I was more used to a Sup Air style harness, so for me the Parajet is an awesome machine, but I'm more used to a harness that's like on the Eclipse.
A little more sparse.
Yeah, a little sparser, and one that doesn't actually hug you, that
Right.
gives you more room to move around.
There's a lot of weight shift on the Eclipse.
Yeah.
A lot of weight shift.
Yeah.
And especially for wider guys, the Fly Products is always going to be the choice I give. I had a student come through Son of Fun this last week, Matt Gray. Awesome guy. He and his wife trained with us and their friend, and they had a great time. And he likes to have one of everything. Actually, likes to have two of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. He has more toys than I could ever dream of having, and I have lots of toys. And I put him immediately. I said, "You want a Rider dual start? That's what you need for you. A Rider dual start's perfect because he's a bigger guy. He's like 230. He's real strong." And I was like, "You need the space to move across the harness."
Well, that's just the thing. It's got a little more space on the sides.
So what else?
Yeah, I don't know. I just loved everything about it. I mean, it's for me. I'm an older guy, so I'm worried a little bit about
Just because you grew through your hair, come on now.
Yeah. No, my landing gear's not getting any younger.
True.
You know, at 50, our warranty expires, and it's hard to get original parts. So so for me, I'm always concerned not so much on the takeoff, but on the landing, particularly because I fly a smaller wing. I fly a 19 Scirocco, so I'm coming in for a hotter landing. But this thing is so light on your back that you don't really even feel it when you land.
Interesting.
So, yeah. I'm really looking forward to trying the other one.
You're going to take all my Eclipses, aren't you? I only have 4 left. You can't take all of them.
Well, I may be leaving with one. Parker's trying to convince me to bring one back to Texas.
Really bad.
Yeah,
Have you flown it yet?
He is.
No, it's not
Most
for
of-
me.
Tomorrow morning?
No, it's not for me. Ron has been looking for his motor for a long time, and then it's the one. I've seen him land on so many different motors, and I could just tell by the reaction when he landed that we had finally found his motor. But he doesn't want to be selfish and get it for himself. But sometimes we got to be a little selfish.
I remember being down here years ago.
I was about to bring this story up.
When you and Travis finally got a new order of motors, you guys were high-fiving each other, and I said, does that happen every day? And you're like, no, we finally have motors we don't have to share with students. They don't have to get banged up or scratched up. So
It was a banner day.
Yeah.
And
So he's trying to convince me that today's the day.
Today's the day.
Yeah.
For me, going to our own individual units, because as a school owner, you're sharing a unit with 80, 100 people a year, which means every strap gets adjusted, the hang points get adjusted, everything changes, and you get your own unit, and it's set up for you. And this is what I tell students too, is like when you have a unit set up for you where you take off, you lift your knees and you're in the seat.
Yeah.
You don't adjust anything, you don't grab the seat, you're in the seat. It's so nice.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna be so happy.
Yeah.
So I'm excited that you found your unit that's right for you. And I kind of feel bad because he probably didn't actually feel like we answered his question. Sorry, Mavericks. Matt Johnson asked, when will we get to see Parker wearing the Lone Star Paramotor yoga pants?
So Matt's a local to Texas with me, so I mean, anytime he comes by the house, maybe no. I'm just kidding. Probably at Oshkosh. Maybe I'll bring him out to EFD.
Why would you wear them at Oshkosh?
Because
We want to encourage people to want to see the sport. We don't want to encourage people to run and cry.
I'm thinking
No.
about maybe
Yeah.
everyone on the Paradigm team flying a
I'll
show
totally-
with them.
I'll
Okay,
bring
I
him
tell you
to
what. If
EFD,
you guys sponsor Paradigm, we'll do it.
just with the pants.
No. It's going to have to be the title sponsorship role because no one will ever sponsor us ever again after they see
the
that.
pants.
Probably not.
Oh, they're so nice.
Probably not.
All right. I have some questions from Mark Dillner. Mark emailed us. And by the way, guys, you're totally welcome to email myself. anybody, email info@aviatorppg.com with questions. Put question for Aviator or Ask Aviator podcast. We want to answer your questions. Send longer questions there. We want to serve you guys. He is from Indiana, and he said the only flight experience he has is going on an introductory flight in a Cessna 15 years ago. I'm an inland lake windsurfer and really enjoy taking advantage of the power that Mother Nature provides to scoot around on a lake for a few hours. After initial training, how much airtime and eventual additional training is recommended/required before stepping up to riding thermals? Secondly, I've seen that some paramotors have bags instead of plastic to hold fuel. If someone were to land in the treetops, would these bags be more prone to puncture than the hard plastic containers? Are there safety differences that need to be taken into account?
What's he planning on doing?
Well, first off, I always plan on landing in the trees because I have known tons of people land in trees. I've known none of them to get hurt.
Ron landed
You what? You landed a tree?
Just once.
Tell a story.
Just once.
Tell
yeah.
a story. I'm excited.
Yeah. This was back in Texas, and I took off, and it was a newbie mistake years ago, but should have taken off, circled around, and cleared the forest before I went over it, but I didn't, and hit the kill switch getting into my seat. So ended up in a treetop, and pretty soon someone had called and said there's an aircraft that crashed in the park. So there's some cops that show up, and state troopers, and a couple of ambulances and fire trucks, and the mayor of the town, and they're all arguing about who has jurisdiction.
Oh my Lord!
When the mayor says, "Why don't we? It's an aircraft. Why don't we call the
FAA?"
Exactly. So they literally hand me the phone in the tree.
You're still in the tree.
I'm in the tree. And they hand me the phone, and the first question was, "What's your tail number?" And I explained I'm in a powered paraglider. I don't have a tail number, and they said, "We really don't want to deal with you. We'd rather not file a report." I said, "That's great, but they still want to know who's in charge." So the FAA guy said, "Well, who has the biggest ladder?"
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I said, "Well, it's the fireman." So he said,
I think we just got a title for this episode. Who has the biggest ladder?
Who has the biggest ladder? Yeah, there you go. So they say, "Well, just tell them it's the fireman that's in charge." So that's what I said, and they got me out of the tree, got the glider out and the motor without any damage. So I went the next day and bought them a bunch of little drones and taught them how to fly them around the firehouse while they were waiting for the next idiot to land in a tree.
So another fun point is that Ron is an avid RC pilot, and he taught a guy who's a new friend of mine, a longtime friend of yours, named Josh Flowers, how to fly RCs when he was in middle school.
Elementary school.
Oh,
yeah.
And Josh Flowers now has a YouTube channel called Aviation 101.
Yeah.
Which you guys should check out if you're interested in airplanes, that kind of thing. Josh was here last week before Sun and Fun, and he's coming back. He told me he could come after the keys. He's very sad.
Okay.
He texted me this morning. But Josh learned to fly paramotors with you as well, which talk about coming full circle.
Yeah.
To go from learning to fly RC as a child, to becoming a pilot, to actually getting in a position where he's learning to fly paramotors.
Yeah, that was really cool. Josh, great kid, and I ran an after-school program called the Fly Boys, just teaching kids how to fly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, fly model airplanes and rockets and things like that. So he learned to crash a bunch. And
hopefully less now.
Yeah, and then he called years later and said, "Do you remember me? I've got my pilot's license now and just want to take you up for a thank you flight for getting me into this." I was like, "Yeah, how old are you now?"
He's like 12.
Well, he said, "I'm 17." So I said, "If you can, pick me up and get me to the airport without getting into an accident or getting a ticket, maybe I'll consider it." So he took me up, and it was great. But he came back later, a year or two later, and said, "Hey, can you teach me how to fly paramotor?" So we did that with him, and he's a great pilot.
I really like Josh. I want to go back to what you talked about, the Flyboys.
Yeah.
So Ron, as a second grade teacher, has taken a great, I don't know if you have, my children have taken a great love to him. So
you got great kids.
I have incredible children. They can be incredibly challenging, but they're incredible. They're 4, 6, and 7 years old. And in February, my wife went to Senegal to visit her sister, who was there with the Peace Corps. And we had a mission. They were going to watch a movie called The Right Stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, Totally not 4-year-old appropriate. Lots of fast forwarding and muting. But it's a movie that helped the framework of who I am, because I wanted to be a test pilot and fly in the Air Force, and I wanted to become an astronaut. My grandfather was an astronaut, not by blood, but I knew him as my Opa. He flew on Apollo 15. So I wanted to share that with my children, and I bought them the Apollo 11 Lego set. And they had to watch this 3-hour movie. Do you know how hard it is to keep a 4-year-old's attention for a 3-hour movie? It took 5 days. Right? This is a big deal. But I tell Ron about it. And Ron's like, oh my gosh, let me tell you about what I did with my students. So his students would all watch what?
We'd watch Apollo 13, and we'd build model rockets and go and launch them in the schoolyard. It was a bunch of fun.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's really great about having Ron in my life is I can ask him where to buy all the model rockets. So we have the scene queued up from Apollo 13 for the launch sequence, and we're going to watch the movie October Sky.
Awesome.
Which is just an incredible story about triumphing over adversity and believing in something greater than yourself. And so this next week, while you're here, we have the model rockets. I have my kids tomorrow morning. We're going to start October Sky. We're going to watch the launch sequence from Apollo 13.
Awesome.
And we're shooting off some freaking rockets.
Let's
I'm
do
so
it.
pumped.
Let's do it while I'm here for this time.
No, I told you it had to happen this trip, because they've been hiding in the back of my closet for like 2 months. And sooner or later,
they don't know they're there.
Oh, no, they have no
great.
idea. It's going
That's
to be
great.
way better this way. Way better this way.
Sweet.
All right. What's heavier, Nitro 200 or Maverick Atom 80? The Nitro is only available with clutch if you have electric start. And what does that weigh? It's the Lone Star Special. What's that weigh? MT, do you remember? 45.7?
Probably around 47, something like that.
Yeah, 47.8, I think is what it is. That's
Yeah.
right.
So it's very close.
Yeah, the Maverick Atom is 45.6, I believe.
Okay.
But on this, you'd be saving 7 pounds.
Yeah.
On
on the Atom,
Eclipse.
yeah.
Yeah, on the Eclipse.
Yeah.
So it's definitely lighter with the Eclipse. They're both really, really good units. And one of the things I should probably bring up, because it's kind of I like sharing stuff that's behind the curtain on these things. When we started selling the Delta frame from Air Conception, we bought a ton of frames because people would butt land them and bend them.
Mm-hmm.
When they try to bend them back, they'd break because they were aluminum, and then they were magnesium. Still my favorite frame from Air Conception. I love the geometry of it. It was fantastic. But when we bought Fly Products stuff, are you guys gonna make out now?
No.
What's going on? Sorry, we're getting stuff from John in the background here, and I got kind of concerned.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, Ron's leading the frame.
I'm so sorry.
So we bought a ton of extra frames for the Fly Products because it's aluminum magnesium. We're like, they're gonna bend and break. That was in October. Do you know how many Fly Products rider frames we've sold?
You got nothing. Yeah.
Not one. I don't know if the frame is stronger or the geometry is different, so that when they butt drag on takeoff or landing, not one has been sold. So we actually started taking them off the shelf and putting motors on them and building them up as full units. So my dad's unit is a frame that we had on the wall.
Yeah.
Because we haven't sold any parts for them, and we fully expected to, because we sold parts for the Deltas, but we haven't had any issues. So it's something to keep in mind if you're looking at the Maverick versus the Eclipse, is that the chassis is much lighter, but the shape is the same as the rider. So we don't anticipate having issues, which is nice. We have no rider frames on the shelf yet because we haven't had a need to. Eclipse frames. All right. I have to catch my breath. What else do we have? Oh, I have one more question in that one there about we never actually answered him on the thermaling and the on the fuel cell.
Okay. What was the question again?
We're going to go backwards. The plastic fuel bladder, or the nylon fuel bladder versus the plastic tank. This past week, we had a unit flown by one of our dear friends. It has about 20 hours on it. It's in the hangar right now. I have no idea why. I don't want to point fingers. There will be a warranty claim associated. It sheared both exhausts. What's the word? Mounts, exhaust mounts.
Yeah.
The thing had just been pre-flooded, not just by the pilot, but also by our team. And it sheared both exhaust mounts, instantly dropped the entire exhaust into the prop. The prop then took out the airbox and the fuel bladder. It sent a shower of atomized fuel all over the exhaust and did not catch fire. The pilot happens to be an attorney.
Was the pilot okay?
Pilot's fine.
Cool.
He didn't leave the ground. It was right into his takeoff.
Ah, okay.
Pilot will never fly with a fuel bladder ever again. I will never fly with a fuel bladder ever again. I had no issue with them before. I thought it was a great idea to save weight. But seeing how quickly one swipe of the propeller literally atomized fuel scared the pants off of me. And the fact that the exhaust mounts failed is really bizarre because the unit has 20 hours on it.
Yeah, that is bizarre.
It's kept in climate-controlled environment, and it has no reason. This is not a unit we sell, by the way, guys. This is not a unit that we carry. But the pilot attorney was very, 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 very much like, I have to make sure the world knows this is unsafe. So at this point, for rear-mounted fuel bladders, we will not be selling them. I don't think it's an issue for side mounts or front mounts. I will be contacting anybody that we sold a fuel bladder to let them know of the issue this week, just to say, hey, listen, like, this happens, be aware. But if you're going to land in trees, would encourage you to have a fuel tank, not a bladder.
Yeah.
Because the bladders have no issue unless you hit them with a propeller, which is spinning 4 inches off the back of the bladder.
We don't sell very many of those, do we? No.
And we've only sold it to one that I know of, and it was an addition to the regular gas tank as well.
Yeah.
Which is usually how we've done it all. So
Yeah,
we've probably sold a couple of dozen to people as a primary. They'll be contacted, and we'll offer to do something for them, because it's not that there's an issue. It's that there might be an issue if you have both of your exhaust mounts literally shear off at the washer with less than 20 hours on the unit. It was like, what the actual heck? That should not happen.
No, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But you know, the bladder tanks to the bags, I like to check the fuel in flight, make sure that I put the cap pack on before I took off, and we can do that easily with a hand
cell phone.
Yeah, cell phone, or even a hand mirror that's down on the throttle cable or handle. But can't do that with a bladder.
Okay, so the next question was about thermaling, and I'll take this one, I suppose. The core. First off, sorry for the lack of camera, guys. We're going through batteries like crazy.
We're using the second
we
camera.
have the second cam.
Yeah,
we do.
Suddeds. Yes, Tucker, I'm shouting you out. The challenge of thermaling is interesting because a lot of pilots who are free flight pilots are like, why can't we thermal all day? Do you understand the reason why?
Oh, yeah.
Walk them through it.
I mean, when you become an intermediate and advanced pilot, you're okay and you can handle things like that. But as a beginner pilot, the bump tolerance just isn't there, and it's not that they can't fly. It's that's not the flight they want.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No, it's no fun.
Agreed.
It's no fun. You land and you say, that was a rodeo show, and I would have rather not been up. So so why even bother?
One of the things I always bring up, Doran Martin wants to know if Parker can sing Barbie Girl.
Oh, yes, I've heard him. He can.
Oh no, Doran's solid.
Is he?
Doran can rock it. I think if Parker could compete with him.
He sings, but he doesn't speak. You couldn't get him on camera.
He does both. What's up, Tucker? Good to see you, brother, man. Okay, just to allay fears on the podcast, I replied to comments. Tucker's still part of Paradigm. Tucker had business stuff to do at home. Tucker didn't come, so I got to fly. So, Tucker, you're only allowed to come to the Balloon Fest in September. That's it. That's all you're allowed to do.
Happy late birthday.
Happy late birthday, brother, man. Super, super happy that you were born. So, my opinion on thermaling as a beginner pilot, the key is at least 100 hours of flight time.
Mm-hmm.
An A-rated wing. I like a Mojo. I like to be on the mid-range of a Mojo, weight-wise, and come to one of our thermaling clinics. If you guys want to see exactly what it looks like, go to Woody's Gamertag on YouTube. He has a video from me teaching him how to thermal, which was we took off at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning in the wintertime when it was just starting to pop and bubble up, and I took him up and I showed him how to find them, how to get your wing into it deeply. But the most important thing is understanding how to actively pilot. Because the difference between paragliding and paramotoring, you're always flying like this. You've got your body here, and the wing is chasing ahead of you, right? Paramotor, when you add thrust, the wing falls back. Mm-hmm. And when the wing falls back, what happens is the wing has less pressure. right? So it's less pressurized, so it's more prone to collapse, right? So anytime you're adding power and climbing, that wing is more prone to collapse. And I should bring Ross in for this conversation because he's done a lot of this too. But the whole concept is that if you are in that position where you're depressurizing the glider and you're putting yourself in a place in really turbulent air, you may have a deflation. So when we teach our thermal clinics, we teach minimal power to 250 feet. You want to climb slow. You want to climb benignly into an altitude where it's easy to throw a reserve, to where it's effortless to throw a reserve, right? Because you don't want to be in a position at 40 feet where you have a 60% collapse. You want to be climbing so slowly and so carefully and cautiously and flying over area that you know is going to be smooth air. You don't be flying across asphalt and water. We flew demos, actually, by the way, let me brush my shoulders off real quick.
All right.
The Blue Angels opened for us 3 days this week. Not saying Paradigm's better, but, you know.
Do you get to choose your opening act?
We actually did.
Did you?
And it was the Blue Angels because, you know, they wanted someone to finish for them and show them how pilots could actually fly. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go.
I have so many friends in the Blues. We flew on the Saturday night show. We flew our first ever Blue Angel Diamond because they have the Diamond team and the solo team, right?
Yep.
And so we flew our Blue Angel Diamond. We had so much fun. It was awesome. It was a really good time. Oh, get back in the shot, Ron.
Sorry, man.
Jeez. But we had a great time with it, and we got to fly after the Blues for a few days this week at Sun and Fun to try to encourage people to come to Paradise City and see the airplanes fly and not just leave the air show, just come over and see what the light side had to offer. But within that, we had to fly really turbulent air, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 5:30 in the afternoon, extraordinarily turbulent, thunderstorms sometimes. And our challenge was, which glider do we choose? And because of the wind level, we had to choose the faster glider. But each of the pilots were like, listen, we'd rather fly the Mojo. We'd rather fly something that's more benign. But we would have gone anywhere. We would have taken off and hovered and landed again. So we chose the wing that would actually get us through and penetrate, which encourages me to bring up Wednesday night. Wednesday night at Sun and Fun was fun.
We weren't there.
I have Javi here. Is Javi still here? No. Javi left. Okay. So we flew Wednesday night at Sun and Fun, and the video came out. You guys have seen it possibly. It's on the YouTube channel. It was 17 guests, 21, I believe.
Send it.
Which is, it was also I think about 45 minutes after sunset. It was our darkest show ever, our windiest show ever. We opted for the safe call, which was we were not going to fly our acro show. And Javi, being Javi is the same guy who last week's show said, "When you learn, you crash a lot." Okay.
No, Javi, no.
No, Javi, no. But Javi's incredibly talented. He's been flying for 14 years.
Yeah.
No, 18 years. 18 years since he was 14. So 18 years of flying paragliders and paramotors. Very talented guy. And he climbed up above the turbulent layer, and he threw down some infinite tumbles for the crowd. They loved it. The crowd screamed. It was awesome. But it was a fun adventure. You guys missed out.
We did. We did.
All right, Bruce, you should update on the financing program for some of the guys. Bruce, the financing program is in place. We have people who have financed. We are ready to rock and roll. We have 2 different programs. One offers 0% APR for 6 months. The other one offers a reasonable rate for a 5 year. It's about $400 a month to buy all of your gear and pay for your training. It's very easy to apply. You can call our office, talk to Mary or Angelina. They'll get you set up. We're soon going to have online pre-approval set up, so you'll be able to be pre-approved and get everything set up through the internet. But it is an in-house Aviator financing, and it's actually live. The banks we're working with are not as cheap as we wanted, but it's still better than a credit card, and it allows you to do it completely in one stop. So you don't have to go through and try to get a personal loan from Wells Fargo or SunTrust and then circle back. It's one stop and it's done, which is a really, really great thing. So that's a good thing. Kelly Cox, well, let's see. Sandor says Paradigm's greater than the Blue Angels. I'm sorry, I hate to disagree. I love Paradigm. If we had the Blue Angels budget, we might be better. But the Blues are some of my favorite people in the entire world, and I am so thankful for their encouragement. It was really fun to be able to sit down with some of the Blues after our flight on Saturday night and hear their feedback. And I can't say enough about our military jet teams. Any airshow performer is incredible. They really are. I was sitting down with Jeff he's part of the Shadowlee Squadron. It's he and his brother Joe. Joe is an A-10 demo pilot, and his father Greg. And his father's in his 70s, I believe, and they're all flying together in air shows. And it's the Airshow family is truly special. They're just great people, and there's so much familial care for each other. It's an industry where it's kind of a terrible life rate.
Yeah.
But I think that it's part of what brings us together is that these people truly live. And when you care for each other, you really show care. And it's special. And it's part of what we do here. So, all right. Bob Blitheract, 6'0", 260 pounds, 61 next June. Does the Eclipse have enough power for me? And can it be triked? Bob, it can be triked. My encouragement to you would be to look at the Vertigo Trike. It won Best Ultralight at Sun and Fun this year. The center of gravity is lower than any other trike I've ever flown. At your weight and your size, it will fit you comfortably, and it will make you a much happier person. Ron just flew it. Tell us more.
Yeah, it is super comfortable, very low center of gravity. It's got a foot brake on it as well.
Which is really nice.
Yeah.
It's strong.
Yeah, it is. So it was a real treat to fly. I may want to lower the brake handles a little bit. I flew it on a Spider. No, I flew it on a Mojo. Yeah, and the brakes were a little high, but
they can be. That's one of the cool things that's coming soon on the Mojo. You guys don't know about this yet.
Okay.
You know how the Sirocco has movable brake magnets?
Yeah.
The Mojo will soon.
Oh, nice.
One more additional,
Nice
feature, which will be great. So if you're on a trike, you move it to the lowest position.
Yeah.
Have much
Excellent.
more space. Yep.
Excellent.
All right. Scroll up a little bit for me. Let's see. Scroll up for me, Nina. Sorry, guys. There we go. Anthony Peregringo, just slightly down. I'm trying to read, guys. I apologize. When we see the Parajet on the table available on your website, this is not a Parajet. This is a Fly Products Eclipse, and it should be on the website tonight or tomorrow morning. They're available right now. We have 4 of them in stock. Available. We have... we had 6. So you guys decide what you're buying tonight and write me a check, and
we're
we'll
gonna
talk.
grab one, I think.
So they are available, and they are available right now. These units are really well designed, really well built, and light as a feather, which is great. All right, let's see here. Bob wants to know if I'm going to fly with Paradigm and Oshkosh. I don't know. Rob Ryder, who is a dear friend and truly my mentor when it comes to airshow announcing, I got to announce with them side by side at Owensboro, which was a live stream for me. I got to not just announce our act, I got to announce all the acts, aside from Blue Angels, because they have their own announcer. And, of course, Rob teaches their announcer.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to do that, and I told my wife this weekend, I said, if I was not running Aviator and running our business, I would announce air shows.
Yes, you would.
I love it. I love the airshow family. I love the crowds. I love everything about it. So Rob will be at Oshkosh, and he'll probably announce, so it means I probably get to fly.
Oh, cool.
Which will be really fun.
That's a good question by Resurgence right there.
It is. I will get to that one in a second. Kelby Cox wants to know, are we going to Bad Apples next month? Sadly, I will not personally be able to be there, but Chris Garrison tonight, who's our school manager and one of my dear friends, someone who I really deeply respect, Chris will be there as a representative of Aviator, and we might have some other members of Aviator there as well. I'm not sure if Alex or Ross will go, Fletch will go. It will really depend on what's happening at the time. We have so much going on here. I'll be in Arizona flying into that really cool party. So I have to defer, but Bad Apples is sponsored by Aviator. We love the Bad Apples. We love the fly-in. Hodges Field is top 10 places I've flown in my entire life. You guys should go if you can.
Haven't been there yet.
It's tight. It's right before EFD.
It's worth it.
Just a lot of driving. We'll see. I would like to.
Buy an airplane, bro.
I can't fly it.
Learn to fly it. No, but seriously,
It's on the long list of things to do.
If you come to work at Aviator and be an accountant again, it's free flight training.
I can't. Ron needs me.
Absolutely. You can't have him. Sorry.
I'm need
You want
based.
to fight? I can't pull your hair, so I think you'll win. Resurgence Todd says, will the Todd Pod join Paradigm for the solo pass at Oshkosh?
Awesome.
Todd, you're on the list. I'll let you know.
Right.
He's on a lot of lists.
He's on a lot of lists. Most of them are hung up in the post office
Yes.
and also at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
He just has to demonstrate the infinite one time, right?
No, please don't.
Okay.
I've seen someone do that one time. They're not on Paradigm.
Right, yeah.
That said, can you scroll up for just one split second? That's good. Okay, Vaprex, how common is it to change instructors for PPG training? My instructors in the facility don't present the professional confidence I expected. It makes me nervous in training. It affects my progress. Man, that's a tough question, isn't it?
Is there only one instructor there? Because we'll have students that really connect more with Parker's style,
Right.
And we'll have others that connect more with my style. So my question for him are there other instructors that he might connect with better?
That's a solid question. So Vox, I think that any school that you're working with should have more than one instructor, because that shows professionalism. It shows they're not a garage like shade tree mechanic. You want someplace that's going to have people who are catered to your style. When my brother James was still alive and he worked with me, he was 18 when he started working with me, and he was a phenomenal pilot and a great instructor. But he was 18 years old, and he was the most cool redneck. We called him the hillbilly hobbit because he was always barefoot. He had a giant shoe in his lip, and he was James. He's a special character. He passed away in June. But what was interesting about James is that he'd have students that might be Parker's age or Ron's age or my age that would completely disrespect him and refuse to listen to him. And I think it's really important that we have this opportunity with our students because we have different instructors. I mean, Chris is incredibly talented. Ross, Fletch, Mike. We have such a vast array of people. It's important to have different personalities to work with.
Yeah.
So if you're working with someone who's a sole proprietor who has no other help, the chances are if you don't align perfectly, which is rare. I mean, I only married one woman. It's a rarity. It's not rare to leave them. The hope is that you don't leave the sport, because that's what we see more and more. If you look on eBay, Craigslist, Paramotor Things for Sale on Facebook, and you see the units for sale, one flight, no flights, broken in, there are a few brands that pretty much predominate that, and it's usually sole proprietors who are in that position where they are very polarizing, where you like them or you don't.
Yep.
You've seen it.
Yes.
There's one
Absolutely.
instructor in particular that I've retrained. When I stopped being on the field full time, I was at 13 of his students that I retrained.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, we have some that we retrain quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And maybe a local instructor, maybe someone national.
Yeah.
It's nothing against the instructors. We're not trying to badmouth anybody, but it's
No.
important to recognize that if you're having issues, most likely it may not be due to the person. It's due to a lack of structure.
It could be that. If the student isn't successful, that's my fault.
Oh, 100%.
And
I take full responsibility.
Right. And I've got to figure out another way to present the information to him that he can master the skill. So sometimes that's me explaining it. Sometimes it's me calling Parker and saying, "Hey, Parker, you'll get through to this guy. I'm just not doing it." So
one of the things that I learned over the last year is that the camera's dead. Is
Lost
that
camera too.
the same things I have to do to teach my 3-year-old?
Mm-hmm.
I started using my techniques for paramotor students.
Oh yeah.
With my 3-year-old, which sounds really demeaning to paramotor students. It's not meant to be, because when you're learning to fly, you're going to your baser instincts. You're fight or flight. That's it. And hopefully it's flight. And that was my own joke. Thanks. John laughed. So did Ron a little bit.
I did.
But the reality is that we're going to our baser instincts. So we have to position ourselves as instructors to think of ourselves not as like we're teaching you how to fly. No, we're coming alongside and we're encouraging and we're trying to help people become bigger than themselves and do something that's superhuman. And so if you're trying to do that with a instructor who doesn't get you, it's not going to work.
No, it's not.
But don't give up faith. Don't give up hope. Believe. Believe in what you can be. Believe in your joy for this. Believe in the possibilities of flying through a field and climbing over the trees and dropping down, going and flying a Kitty Hawk and experiencing this incredible life, because there's so much that can happen. And honestly, Vox, if you're having challenges, please reach out to myself, to Info at Aviator PPG. Reach out to us. We'll connect you with one of our Alliance instructors close to you, and we'll help you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, it wasn't me.
Oh, no. You guys are talking. Come on
Yeah.
now.
I may have to step out for just a second.
Do you have to pee?
I do.
Come on now. Not
Sorry.
professional. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry, buddy. I gotta go. I'll be back in a moment.
All right. Come on back.
Power.
All right. So he says that where he's involved, basically one trainer, there are others involved, but not the actual PPG trainer. I understand completely. That was my experience as well, and it was really challenging. Someone named Danielle Farewell asked why I'm so fine. Well, I got you to marry me almost 10 years ago, so far so good. Love you, baby. I got to take her for her first flight in the RV tonight, or today, and I only made her sick a little bit. It was really turbulent. So 2 weeks ago, we bought a Vans RV6. We sold the Cessna 172 to Travis, and so the new company plane is a Vans RV6, so I can go places fast and have meetings because my mentor's in Atlanta. And so 180 miles an hour is a lot faster than 100 miles an hour, and it was cheaper.
It doesn't have a problem slowing down either. We were flying formation in it with the Cessna 172 yesterday. So,
120.
No, we were flying with the the Skyhawk.
Oh, were you?
172, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we were just right up on the wing for
Nice.
a long time, so it can go where you need it to go.
It can hang.
It's
It
a
can
nice
hang.
little plane.
I got up yesterday. I was flying with Chris Desmond, who runs our pylon teams at a lot of the air shows, and he gets on the radio, and all of a sudden 2 pit specials fly up next to us, and I was like, "Sup, guys?" They're in formation. I try to slow way down because they're doing 120. I'm doing 170. I was like, slow down and pull up next to them, and all of a sudden they started doing barrel rolls, and I was like, I can do that too. It was so much fun. And this is where I say again and again, fly all the things. Paramotor's a gateway drug. You got to fly airplanes, drones, helicopters, everything. Everything. The more you fly, the happier life is. It really, really, truly is. So Vaprex is in North Carolina. And Vap, seriously, email me. I will put you in touch with Todd at Resurgence. I will put you in touch with other instructors. I will encourage you to come down here for a visit. We'll get you flying properly, my friend. Kevin Woodward. Kevin, good to see you, buddy. James Stump, shout out to you as well. Kevin was here 10 days ago and got to fly one of the most special flights in the world. So my dad, who lost his son in June, learned to fly 5 years ago. I was already flying. My brother James was already flying. My brother Joseph learned to fly. And my dad had many flights with all 3 of his sons. Not his oldest, but the 3 younger sons all together. And those memories, I remember when James passed away, about a week later, I went flying with Dad and Joseph, and we flew down the chalet runway, and I just wept the whole flight because it's where James and I flew together. And Kevin was here, and his son, who I think was 13 or 15, got to fly in a tandem with his dad.
Right.
Now, Kevin's 235 pounds flying an Atom 80 and a Spider 326. So he ran a ways.
I'm close to that. I'd give it a shot.
You can do it.
I know.
Oh, 100%. Tandem can do it.
I'm
But
used to running.
it was an incredible experience, and it was so neat for me to watch. And we had the same experience the week before. We had Nathan, who's another awesome guy. He trained at Paracosta, and his 82-year-old father came and flew with my dad, and Nathan got to fly with him. I think he was 82. And just really phenomenal experience. They got to share the air, and the sunset was incredible. It's about 2 weeks ago. So fly with your family. Flying can bring your family together if you allow it to. So don't hesitate. Really cool stuff. Phobio 2101 asks, any instructor recommendations in Michigan? Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Fly my.
Fly my.
Yeah.
Where are they? What are their names?
Mike Cotter.
Justin Fox?
Justin Fox.
Fox,
Yep. Fly Michigan PPG.
Fly My PPG. FlyMyPPG.com.
Resurgence is all over.
Yeah, Todd's on this
Phenomenal
stuff.
guys,
Todd's-
yeah.
Guys,
got
you
it.
cannot go wrong working with Justin and Mike. They
Yeah.
have an incredible facility. I literally, if I had the money right now, I'd go buy their airport because it's so gorgeous. You take off in the summer and you fly a mile away, and you're flying over a lavender field. That's like 5,000 square acres. Then you fly over that, and you drop into a mint field. You want to talk about intoxicating, flying through mint?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's truly incredible, and great people.
It's like real life aromatherapy.
It's real life aromatherapy, yes. And they have a bunkhouse on site. They have great instructors. They've worked with a lot of our instructors here. You can't go wrong. They have Bob as well. Bob is one of the most gracious human beings I've ever met in my entire life. Really, really talented. Great instructor. You can't go wrong working with FlyMy. They're just northwest, I think, of Lansing, St. John's, Michigan, if I recall correctly. Reach out to FlyMy. You can't go wrong. Really good use of time. Go ahead.
If you tell them I sent you, you'll get absolutely no discount.
If you tell them I sent you, they'll actually charge you more. All right, let's see here. Alex Delargy says, what is angle of attack? Do you mean angle of attack or angle of incidence? Answer that question and what the differences are, and I will decide if you are a troll or not. Bob Garber, suddenfashion.com. I have a Mojo Power extra small. The power weight range is 55 to 90. I'm 100 kg all up. You are out of the certification. Are you out of safety? As a beginner, if you're 100 kilograms all up, I would probably put you on a medium for your first flight. I usually put you on the bottom of the weight range. I know, Ron, you do the same.
Yeah, we usually fly them on a wing that's a little bit larger for them to begin with.
1 to 2 sizes larger than
usually.
Yeah. Could you fly the Mojo Power XS? Absolutely, after some experience. For instance, my all-up weight. Let me run this really quick. My all-up weight is around 270 pounds. I fly a Mojo Power XS all the time.
I have flown the small, and my all-up weight is considerably more than yours.
What's yours? 320?
Yeah, about that. But
yeah,
it was a no-win morning too.
100% doable.
Long takeoff.
100% doable. However, is it the right thing to do or the wise thing to do? Not as a beginner. Get with an instructor that has the gear that you need. All of the Alliance members have all the gear you need. You don't have to go anywhere else. You don't have to buy gear. You don't have to rent gear. It's all included. They'll take care of you. It's part of the reason why Ron lost his hair is he had to buy all the gear.
I'd shave mine in solidarity.
In solidarity.
No, you weren't.
It's been gone forever.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do I know Mike Austin Empire? I do know Mike. Phenomenal poker player. I've never seen him train. Really nice guy. I would hope that you have a great experience. I can't speak for the experience because he's not gone through training with us, and I have not gone through training with him. But again, really nice guy. I would hope it's a fantastic experience. What else do we have? Anything else? Guys, it has been a really long stream. We're at 1 hour and 40 minutes. I spent 1 hour and 40 minutes nearly in an MRI machine today. I'm going to fall asleep in my own coffee cup.
Still has to be better than that.
What's that?
So this still has to be better than that.
I think that Chinese water torture would be better than that. Bob asked if the Vertigo will work well with Mojo XL. Absolutely does. We use it every day with Mojo. Absolutely. Any other questions? He means angle of attack. I will address this next conversation. Send me an email. I'll be happy to explain the difference between angle of attack, angle of incidence, and the differences that it makes for your wing and pressurization, because it all changes depending on where you pull brakes, whether inside or outside. Sudden Fashion Aviator, August 10th. Thank you. Can't wait to have you. Can't wait to fly with you. Fantastic. Bob, thank you very much. Kelby, thank you. To the 154 people watching us right now live, we're truly honored. If you guys are enjoying this, please leave a message. Leave a comment right now. Let us know your thoughts. Ron, Parker, thank you for being here.
Every time.
Oh, you're welcome. This is it's always great to come down here.
Ron calls this the Mecca.
Yeah. The Mecca?
I'm going to visit Mecca.
We're going down to Mecca, yeah. And for me, Aviator is like a hot tub. I've never gotten out of a hot tub and said, that sucked. I shouldn't have been in there. It's always, I should go in there more often. So I really enjoy coming down here.
I just feel like it's necessary to say that we've had one female guest and like 9 males. So I feel like it's necessary to say you're in a hot tub with a lot of dudes. But seriously, guys, it's such an honor, and it's just a great pleasure to be here with you all. I'm exhausted. I apologize for the fact that I'm so tired today, but I hope that it's been beneficial to our audience, and it's been a joy to have you guys. Ron teaches here with us at Aviator whenever we can get him. Parker is a wonderful attribute, and we're so thankful to have him here with us. And for each of you guys, as you are working more and more and trying to grow, please stay in contact with us. Bob, the closest Alliance member to New Orleans, is going to be your friends right here.
That's us.
Yeah.
Ron Turan and Parker, awesome. They're in Austin, Texas. Do you guys have a cancellation this month?
We
We have one open hole this
we
month.
do. We have one open slot.
Saturday? Oh, 22nd.
22nd.
It's April 22nd. Yeah.
So, Bob, this doesn't actually usually happen, but there is an opening April 22nd. So please get in touch if you can come down. Even if you can come down for 5 days and fill in the rest of the time some of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Get 5 days. That's only 3 days off work. Hop on that slot while you can, please, because you guys need to fill your class, and that needs to happen. Get in the air. It's worth it. Colin Gardner, brother, it's so great to see you. Colin was fun story. So Colin was on a around-the-world tour with his wife, his daughter, and her then-boyfriend, now husband, in a catamaran. He's from Australia, and he's kicked cancer's butt, I think, 5 times.
Wow.
Wow. Awesome dude. Came learn to fly with me, I think, almost 6 years ago. 5-6 years ago. Awesome dude. Tony, we'll work on those guests for you, my friend. I know that we'd love to have all those guys on board. It's just a question of location. Michael Wheaton, thank you. Todd, love having you here, my friend. James Robinson, thank you indeed. Bob Hogarth, give me a great price on a wing. We sadly can only sell wings at retail because that's how we preserve the market and we make sure that guys like Ron and Parker eat, including our children, which I have to tell you, my 4-year-old daughter Eloise is the most beautiful button you've ever seen. She loves to interpretive dance 20 hours a day, and she's so hungry.
I've never seen a child eat a whole bag of carrots like she did the other day.
Yeah,
This
she
girl
did.
can eat
Just a
7
whole
pounds
bag.
of freaking carrots.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, it's dangerous. Sudden Fashion, yes, you can trade in your Mojo Extra Small. We have a trade-in program for anything we sell. Contact us. We're like the CarMax of paramotors and paragliders. We'll take care of you. Craig Couch, thank you, my friend. Huge shout-out to Craig Couch. Craig learned to fly here in February, I believe it was, or January.
Okay.
One leg. Remember him now?
No, Craig Taylor.
That was Craig Taylor. Just kidding. Shout out to you too, Craig Couch. Craig Taylor, this is my problem with names. I was having this conversation earlier this week at Sun and Fun. I was describing someone's wife,
Yeah.
the gear they flew, their favorite drink, what vehicle they drove, all the things. And I'm talking to Chris, and Chris goes,
Wrong dude.
"What's his name?" And I was like, "Not a clue."
Yeah.
So bad with names. But Craig Taylor's buying a house locally here. He's moving here for the winter.
Is he really?
So we're going to have a one-legged PPG flyer from Nantucket
Awesome.
flying here with us all winter long. We're so excited to bring one more family to Lake Wales.
That's awesome. Love Craig.
Too good. Anthony
Hell
Peregrino,
yeah.
we'd love to have Jean-Francois Chabadot. We'd love to have him here if he'd love to come visit us. He flew right by us, didn't stop. I was really sad.
I know. I was shocked he didn't stop by here.
Todd Yankee, good to see you, my friend. Thanks so much for coming to Sun and Fun, buddy. Always a pleasure. Guys, it's been a joy to have you all here. We are way past time. I'm going home. Guys, thank you.
I
Oh,
got an
you're
early
welcome.
flight. I'm going to get some sleep too.
Thank you to John, Nina, Mary, Chris, Alex,
Thank
Fletch,
you.
and Ross for being behind the camera. Much love to everybody, and we will see you guys very soon. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you next Tuesday, expected most likely around between 6 and 9 p.m. Who knows? We'll see. Good night.